What got me into automotive paint? I got tired of paying people to paint stuff for me. Be honest, when everybody goes to a car show, first thing you see is the paint job. That's what grabs your attention, you know? And that's what always grabbed my attention was the colors and the sparkle and the flake, the pearl, and you know, my dad explained all of it to me, and it was really, really cool how you could take all of that and just put it onto a vehicle, and now you have a piece of art that rolls down the road, so. My dad got this truck as a retirement present to himself, but he wanted a full custom truck. And me, I'm like, hell yeah, I was working at Master Image Customs at the time. So getting it bagged and getting the ball rolling on everything for that, that was easy to do. Eric Jackson painted this 16 or 17 years ago. It needs to be redone really bad. So everything needed to be removed, stripped down, or even replaced. I'm gonna call up Marcel. We've done quite a few trucks together. So we talk him a little bit and see if I can get him over here and help me finish this thing out.
Back in the day, that was one of the trucks that you looked for. I mean, that really kind of set a big trend. And to see it now in the condition it was a little heartbreaking. So I was all in. The original fender on the truck was rotted out, so we picked up a new one from Brothers Truck Parts and shipped it over to Deluxe Hot Rods. Jordan got me back the fender that he went ahead and shaved the side marker light on, and he did a great job of getting all of the metal as smooth as possible. Basically, no low spots, no high spots, the most consistent metal surface that we possibly can get. So now it's time to put some filler onto the fender and actually work the material down to get it ready for primer. So now I'm going to use 3M's Platinum Select Filler, which I like using this filler because it spreads more like a glaze rather than a body filler. It actually goes over real easy and real smooth. It's super easy to sand. It doesn't clog up your paper or it doesn't show a lot of sand scratches. So if you got about a 3-inch pad right here, you want to go a quarter cross with this, about the mix ratio that you want to use with the catalyst. You want to mix thoroughly until it'll end up looking like a pale pink color. And I'm going to try to cover as flat and consistent. Now I'm going to come back with a thinner metal spreader that'll allow me to feather out the edges, and I'll work the material out as far as I possibly can. So now the material's kicked off and it looks like it's ready to be sanded. So we're going to start off by using some of 3M's 80 grit paper that's on roll, and attach that to the back of the block because it's adhesive back. What I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to get these two contours to be the same. So I'm using this soft block here that I've got set up with some 220 paper, and I'm going to hold the door closed like this. Just line up the block like that, and I'm going to block. So you see this line right here lines up nice, and this side panel here is real nice and flush. Tom wanted something different for the tailgate where he could lay out some pinstriping. So I used 2 bottom pieces of deluxe molding from Brothers to frame the inner tailgate skin.
Taking the DA with some 80 grit 3M sandpaper, getting everything knocked down as flat as I can. It'll just be a good heavy duty primer so we can get a good block, make sure everything's basic the way we want it, and then we'll be able to get ready for paint. So we'll get some primer done tonight.
All right, so tonight, I think this is what we need to do. This thing obviously is ready to put into white sealer immediately. So let's put it into white sealer first. Then we'll go, we'll give it like about 20 minutes, and then we'll go into orange sealer. Give that about 20-30 minutes to dry, and then we put color on and clear it. Is that the game plan?
Sounds like an awesome game plan to me. Okay.
I'm using AutoWear Colors Autoborn Sealer that I reduced by 10%. After I waited about 10 minutes or so for the material to acclimate and began spraying. The same process happened to the fenders, doors, and everything else that needed to be sealed.
So as we see, Marcel did a really good job on using the white sealer, which we're sealing everything. And then eventually we're going to go over most of it with an orange sealer. We just want to do the white so everything covers Also, the top of the truck is gonna be a cream color. So the white base is the best thing for the cream color. So the way I mix it up, I do 2 parts of the base coat, 1 part of the 40-30 additive, and then I'll do 5 to 10% of the reducer. It's not necessary, but it does work really good as in kicking the paint off a little bit harder. Makes it more durable and dries a little bit quicker too, so. All right, so I've got my LPH80. I'm gonna do some small spots. Instead of breaking out my big gun, I can get a little better detail with this quicker. Adjustment on the gun, wide open. And what I'll do is I'll pull my trigger back where I just have my air, and I'll set my pressure. That'll be my spraying pressure. So with base coats on the auto air, I usually do between 20 to 25. I already did a little sample with this, so 25 works really good with this one. Water base, I like to go a little choked in on my trigger, so that way I'm not flooding it on, I have a little more control over it.
Hey, it happens to every one of us. Every once in a while you catch a run. And I want to show you guys how you can fix that run and get right back into spraying your parts and get some color laid down. 500 DA paper, and I'm just going to block out the run. There's a lot more material here in the run than around this area, and we're definitely going to sand through this area. But what you want to make sure is that you sand this completely flat, because you don't want any moisture or just buildup of material. You'll have to come back in here and recoat with your sealer. A lot of fast, light coats is the way that you want to build up your material rather than trying to flow the paint on. Okay, we already have our part set in white sealer, and what we're going to do right now is we're going to use Auto Air Color's Auto-Borne sealer that's been tinted in orange as a ground coat, so it'll help our top coat color cover easier and get better orientation when we spray the material over it. So I'm going to mix up 2 quarts of this right now. And again, using the 40-12 reducer, I'll put 10%. So I'm going to let that set for about 10 or 15 minutes, plug in, and we'll get back to work.
So with everything we've done so far, we've got our white sealer, orange sealer on top of everything that's getting orange. We got Sparklescent Mango, which is going to be our really cool base. We're going to do 2 parts of that, to 1 part of the 40-30 mixing additive, and then about a 5 to 10% splash of the reducer, and give it a good stir. And then what I like to do is with water base, I like to give it an extra 10 minutes just to sit by itself.
Tom came in and tag teamed it and laid down Sparklescent Mango and cleared it all. So we got the truck sitting outside for the last couple days, and we've been assembling it outside.
The fun, not so fun part, we need to cut and buff it. We're gonna spend some time today using the Meguiar's, some 3M sandpapers. I'll do 800, 15, 25 to 3,000 to finesse it by hand.
So it does seem like all I do is sand this truck, and just sand and sand and sand and more sand, but I will say that it's much easier to sand using these stains from soft sanders, because it matches the contour, so at least I don't wear myself out, and it makes it straighter.
Now that we're done sanding, we're getting ready to cut and buff with the Meguiar's 3-step system. We'll be using wool pads and foam pads. So now we're going to put the 205 Ultra Finishing Polish. Switched out to our 7-inch foam pad and polish it up. Now that it's all cut and buffed, now I get to finally do my pinstriping on it. It's one of my favorite things to do.
Eddie's helping me. We got Kodo in the house. Kodo's over here giving us a hand. It looks like it's going on just how we want it. This Sparklescent Mango.
is a badass color. Sure. Okay, I'm gonna shut the door. And I need to just, we need to go down. Okay, that's why we can test.
It really makes it feel like you're driving a different truck.
Now that I finally get to see it out in the sun, all polished out and put back together, I'm extremely happy with how all of the pearls jumping off of it. My old school traditional pinstriping on point as always. Super happy with this truck.